is definitely a new time where there is a lot of awareness by folks that kind of didn't realize that they weren't as like woke or liberal or as understanding of like a lot of the struggles, right? So this is the time. So diversity in the state attorney's office, does it have to be a person of color at the helm to make sure that the office represents the population that's in the county?
So hold on one second. I'm sorry. It's my wife was texting me from inside. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But,
we're almost over that hour. That's
when
probably why
when she
said
can't,
an hour.
So yeah, I did say an hour, but I'm definitely gonna answer this. We text her one more time. This is gonna be live on the interview. Like
it is. It's happening on Facebook Live right now. Yeah, it's recorded. It's on video, and everybody gonna see it. Like he over here talking to his wife when we talking some serious business. But married people understand you need to talk to your wife. So.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Like, you know how many times I was like, my case gets called. I'm like, yes. Judge, can you put me on recall?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes. All right.
And
diversity.
So
does it have to
diversity
be a come at the helm in order for the office to be representative of the population?
No, it does. No, it does not. But one thing I am sick and tired of is people saying, "Oh, the population is approximately 30% Black, so we're going to hire 30% Black people, 30% Hispanic people to have accurate representation." We're not looking for equal. Stop trying to make stuff equal. You are diminishing the value of diversity as a whole when you do something like that. It is important to have Asian folks in the office. Why? Because they understand those cases. They can understand their community more so than other folks, and they have different shared life experiences than we do. They see this in case law. It literally says this in case law that Thurgood Marshall was a part of. It does help to have that type of diversity. In addition to that, having Jamaican folks in the office and Haitian folks in the office. And look, I had a case once, and I was a lead at the time, and I was helping out my third, and young Hispanic woman out from Weston, good attorney. She said, "I just did this deposition, and this guy," and I watched the video, and I don't understand what the big deal is, but this guy walked in, and he just started saying, "Blood clot." Like, he just started saying all these like horrible, disrespectful things. And she was like, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" And in the deposition, she would ask what this means. He's like, "Ma'am, I can't even tell you what it means. I cannot tell you what it means. I am being recorded, and it is too disrespectful for me to tell you what that means." And she's like, "Okay." So she ends up looking it up, and she shows it to him. She's like, "Yes, that's what that means." And there is a history, whether it's a Buju Banton or other Jamaican artists, where they have said some extremely homophobic things. Whether it's hip hop and saying some sexist things. There were certain words that really trigger culturally. You need to have people in the office to understand that. Mm-hmm. Okay. When I was in the office, or I'm in the office now, I had somebody come in who was in the office and misinterpreted what the term trap queen meant. She said it was the head prostitute. And no, the trap queen is not a head prostitute. The trap is not where prostitution lives at. And these are not, it's not, you're taking cultural references and giving it to an office of over 80% white people and saying this is what this means. So even if they never used it in their prosecutorial life, they go back home and tell all their friends about this who never knew about it. And they're like, "Oh, that's amazing. Like, I did not know that." So now people in the community are starting to think that this is true because you have some authority and understanding of these things. So diversity in and of itself is necessary. Someone last night said we have 57% minority community in Broward County. Therefore, I will have 57% minorities in the office, and I will give 57% contracts to minorities. you don't understand the necessity. You don't understand what diversity is. You don't.
Yeah.
So do we need someone at the helm to do it? No, but you need someone who understands it. Because you can put a Black person, I said this on the radio the other day. If I was hiring and I had Will Smith and Jaden Smith as candidates, Will Smith has a different life experience than Jaden Smith. Let's just take out the whole Jada Pinkett Smith stuff that recently came out. But
yes.
But Will Smith grew up in the inner city of Philadelphia. What he had to learn to survive those streets and get to where he is and the level of success he was in, and even in his acting, reach inside and get that type of pain to show it on the screen, it's completely different from the type of background that Jaden Smith had to use to survive the mean streets of Bel Air and the mean streets of whatever other rich community they may have lived over time. So they're both Black, but one has a more diverse history than the other one. If we chose one over the other to be at the helm, I guarantee you're going to get a different result.
Yes, definitely. And there's another candidate in Miami. Sometimes she'll say, she said like all skin folk and kinfolk, right? Like that sort of thing.
All skin folk and kinfolk. and Black people are not a monolith.
They're not a monolith. And we have examples like they put a brother on the court and it's like, dude, so we understand that. So, when we hear people like, oh yeah, it's 30% Black, we're going to put 30% Black people. We just be like, we don't want you to put any old kind of Black person there because we know there's some Black people that you might put in that space that's going to do things that's going to be against us or not for us or just not people, type of thing. So
I don't want any old white person in the space, any old Hispanic person in the space. I don't want any old Black person in the space. What I want is somebody that can do the job and do the job well. And I want somebody with some experience outside of prosecuting for their whole life. Or I want somebody with some experience that it gives them an understanding of the communal aspect of it. Somebody that wants to go in the community, somebody that wants to do the research. And even if you're an introvert, you don't like that face-to-face stuff, that's fine. But your decision-making process, that's what I care about. I care about this as well as I care about this. Right. I care about it all. Because our communities, Black folks that live in Weston and Coral Springs do not have the same issues that people who live on the other side of the tracks in Fort Lauderdale and the other side of the tracks in Deerfield Beach have. They just don't.